Alright, so it's been a while since I've done one of these meat thermometer comparison videos, but I got the new MeatStick V, and we're going to be comparing it to the Meter Pro. Let's see how this new MeatStick stands up. I'm going to be testing these meat thermometers out, and I'm going to be cooking this delicious prime rib roast. So like I said, MeatStick sent me out their new MeatStick V, MeatStick 5, and I'm going to be comparing it to the Meter Pro. This is a good wireless meat thermometer. A lot of people like using this, so it's perfect comparison to see how this stacks up. And I have very high hopes for this because I've been using MeatStick for a long time. I have pretty much all of their wireless meat thermometers. I'm sure you've seen plenty of my videos comparing meat sticks and doing reviews on meat sticks. I absolutely love their products. They're the perfect mix because they're not too expensive, but they're not super cheap like a lot of the wireless meat thermometers on the market today. They've been making meat thermometers for a while. They were one of the first ones, I think, with the wireless meat thermometers, and all their products are fantastic. So I'm super excited to try this new one. Like I said, big fan of the MeatStick. But I'm going to take you over all the specs between both these. We'll compare them. You're going to get a fair comparison video from me. So this isn't really a cooking video. I am going to be cooking, but this is a wireless meat thermometer comparison video. So I'm just going to make quick work of this, show you how I do it easy, but this is going to be super fast. So let's get this prepped. First, we cut these bones almost all the way off, like so. Next, season generously with your favorite seasoning. I'm using my barbecue rub. I've said it before, this stuff goes great on everything, including prime rib. So get a good amount of seasoning in there, and heavily coat the outside, and tie it up with some butcher string. And that's it. Like I said, this isn't about the prime rib. You can obviously go a lot of different directions with this, but this is going to be a delicious prime rib. So let's go ahead and get our meat probes. Now these both have apps, obviously. So you just pull the stick out, pretty simple, connect it up to your app, and you're good to go. So let's go ahead, stick this right into the middle. What I like to do is kind of see where I can get it in the center. So if I come over here, about there, go ahead. Get this in. And there's a line on each of these sensors. You want to make sure you get it in past that line. Now, same thing with the meter. Pull it out. I've had this one a while, so it's already set up. And I'm going to put this one right next to this meat stick. Try and get them in the same spot. With both these meat thermometers, getting them directly in the center isn't too big a deal, and I'll go over why after we get this on the smoker. But there we go, meat thermometers in. I got my pellet grill that I'm going to be slow smoking this on, and then we're going to sear it after. So both these bases need to be within 3 feet of these temperature probes. So let's get this prime rib outside with these bases. All right, got the Z-Grill's pellet grill at 225. We're going to go ahead, put that beautiful prime rib just like that. Now let's close this up, let it smoke. I'll bring you in and we will set these meat thermometers up on the app, and I'll show you how that's done. All right, steaks on. Let's go over these apps. We will do the meter first. All right, so you can see here I had the Meter Pro hooked up, connect, but it's not connected now because I am in my garage and my smoker is in the backyard. That's just a little too far away through the house to keep a connection. Once I'm in the house, it'll reconnect. So it's a downfall to this Meter Pro. It doesn't have Wi-Fi, it runs on Bluetooth. You need to be close to the base to be able to stay connected. You can see here, connection lost. I gotta get closer to the base to be able to do this, but I've gone over the Meter Plus in other review videos if you want to see how to set up cooks and things like that. It's pretty straightforward. But let's go ahead and check out the MeatStick. So you can see it's already connected here. Click Setup Cook. Let's go down to Smoke, Beef, Prime Rib. So I'm going to bring this up to around 120 because we're going to sear it off after. And I think that's a good temperature. Maybe 125, but I'll do 120 and see where we are. Notice with prime ribs, you want to cook them a little more than if you're just cooking like a ribeye steak or something. They come out a little bit better when they're in the medium rare temperature range. So it's just going to create your cook. Pretty simple, straightforward stuff here. So you're supposed to set up the cook before you insert it, but not a big deal. there we are. All right, now we got all our temperatures. We're at 33 degrees. All right, so let's talk about this page here. You can see there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different temperature readings here on the bottom. This is why I was saying it's not too important to get it directly in the middle. And the meter is the same exact way. They each have 5 sensors in the probe itself, then the one ambient temperature, which is at the end. So what it's going to do is look at all 5 of those temperature readings. It's going to give you the lowest reading, because say that 38 degrees one in the middle, that was the coldest because that was in the center of the beef. Then that's the temperature reading it's going to give you there. So I love this feature on both these temperature probes. It makes it more accurate, whereas early temperature probes, it was just at the tip, so you had to make sure you had it directly centered in the meat or you weren't going to get an accurate reading. So it's a positive to both of these. Now you're probably wondering, how am I still connected with the MeatStick? Well, this MeatStick uses Wi-Fi, which in temperature probes, it is a game changer, because as long as you have internet connection on your phone, you can check temperature anywhere. So I can go out to the store right now. I'm still going to have connection as long as the store isn't a dead spot for my phone. That is huge with a wireless meat thermometer, I'm telling you, just because it is so much more reliable to have that Wi-Fi compared to the Bluetooth. But if you want, you can go through this app. There's a bunch of different things you could set up. I could set up ambient temp, so low alarms, high alarms, things like that. So it'll monitor the smoker. If the smoker turns off and my temperature's dropping, it'll let me know. Or if the smoker's getting too hot, it'll also let me know that as well. Now you can see the ambient is up to 223. I have the smoker set to 225, so that's a pretty good reading right there. Also will give you a lapse time once you start to cook, so you can know how long the food is on there, which is also a benefit. That's pretty much the app. Straightforward, simple, easy to use. All right, guys, let's go over a little bit of differences between both these wireless meat thermometers. First thing, obviously, is the Wi-Fi compatibility. You're gonna want Wi-Fi on your meat thermometer. I'm telling you, it is super important. Just the fact, especially on a longer cook, that you can leave the house and still monitor your cook and not have to worry about anything is huge. So the Meter does not have this Wi-Fi capability on the Meter Pro model. I believe their block models, which is the 4 probes, does, and those get a little expensive, like I said. Now, talking about the probes, you can see that the MeatStick is a little bit shorter. Both diameters are pretty much identical, and they each have the 5 internal temperature probes and the 1 ambient temperature probe. Now, the internal temperature max on both of these is 212 degrees, but the Meter can withstand 1000 degrees, and the MeatStick goes up to 1200 degrees. That's a pretty good buffer there of an extra 200 degrees. Now, like with this, I'm going to slow smoke it, then sear it after, and I'm not sure if I'm going to use cast iron or my grill yet. But if I use the grill, I don't have to worry about the flames on the grill being too hot when I sear this. 1000 degrees and 1200, I should be safe with both of these, but having that little 200 degree buffer is nice. Now, this really comes in handy when you're grilling smaller steaks, New York strips, or ribeyes, my favorite steak, because you can throw those temperature probes in there, grill them hot and fast, charcoal, gas, whatever you want, and you don't need to worry about flare-ups damaging the temperature probes. And like I said, having that extra 200 degree buffer with the MeatStick is very nice. Now with the MeatStick, you can run it off Bluetooth if you want. I believe it's 5.4 Bluetooth. The Meter is 5.2. I have no idea what the differences between 5.2 and 5.4 are, but I'm sure you can look it up and find out. Now the MeatStick is IB9XK waterproof. Again, I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it is an IP rating that they've achieved for the waterproof level on their wireless meat thermometer. The Meter is waterproof, but it doesn't have that IP9 rating. Take that as you wish. The MeatStick also has a thermal cycle proofing on it, so going from hot heat to cleaning it in water, all that good stuff, it really protects it from getting damaged in those thermal cycle events. Now with the bases, each base is what is going to charge the probes. The base on the Meter is run off of AAA batteries, and once the probe is fully charged, you can get 24 hours of that. That is a good amount of time. The MeatStick is a rechargeable battery, USB-C plug style, and once that's fully charged, the base will be good for 15 hours. And once the probe is fully charged, you get 50 hours off the probe, so that is super impressive with that. Now, rechargeable batteries versus using AAAs, that's really going to be a preference for you. Some people like the rechargeable style, and some people shy away from rechargeable, so that's kind of going to be up to you if you like having batteries or rechargeable. Now, a new feature on this MeatStick that I think is taking it to a new level is the base is an extender, which allows it to use Wi-Fi. Now, if you have old MeatStick wireless meat thermometers, I don't think the super original ones will work, but I know the MeatStick 4 and the MeatStick Chef will both work with this extender. So as long as you charge them in their respectable bases, you can connect them to this Wi-Fi extender. It'll allow you to hook up to 8 temperature probes. So now, if you already have some MeatStick probes or you want to add on to your collection, you can just buy more probes and connect it to this extender up to 8, and you can run 8 different probes from the one extender, all with Wi-Fi. So that is huge. Whereas with the meter, you can't do that. You'd have to buy their block like we talked about before. So that is an awesome feature in my eyes, because I have the Chef and the 4. So now I know if I want to use multiple meat thermometers, I can connect them all to this extender and use Wi-Fi and be able to monitor my cook on all these different probes with the one extender. So like I said, if you have multiple thermometers, all you have to do is buy this one MeatStick 5, and this base is going to be able to connect to all your probes. You're going to be good to go. So if you've been a MeatStick person, this is going to be an awesome wireless meat thermometer addition to add to your collection. So that's the main things about these two different wireless meat thermometers. You can already see that the MeatStick has a lot of great features that the meter is lacking in. And if you're interested in a MeatStick, I'm going to be able to get you 10% off the MeatStick. Just use the code Joe10 and you will get 10% off your MeatStick. So if you're interested in one of these, make sure to use that code. You're going to get an extra 10% off, and I highly recommend it just because Wi-Fi is huge in my eyes with a wireless meat thermometer. I've said that in other review videos I've done. You really just can't beat the Wi-Fi because, like I said, you can go out to the store and still monitor the cook. It's just great. Now, we still got to check on accuracy of these, so I'm going to let the prime rib cook a little bit. Then we will go out there. We'll check out what our temperature readings are on the meter and the MeatStick, and I'll use my InstaRead thermometer to double check it and see how close we are with accuracy. Let's jump ahead, get outside, and compare these temperatures. All right, it's been 2 hours on the prime rib. Let's take a look. Looks really good. So let's check some temperatures. Here's the MeatStick. We're at 104 with a 275, 273 internal. It's going to go down because I opened it. Meter's at 99 and ambient's dropping quick, but it was also at 275. So both ambients were accurate at about 275. Meters at 99, MeatStick's at 104. Let's check it with the InstaRead. And I've got my InstaRead at 102, 103. So both these temperatures are pretty accurate. We were at 104 for the MeatStick and 99 on the meter. Meter's now up to 100, so they're both about within 2 degrees of this, and depending on where I poke it, it's going to change. See here, we're up at 110. Down there, we're at 97. So it really depends where those probes are at. 199, so that's probably close to where the meter is. See if I can get it close to where the MeatStick is. Yeah, that's right about at where the MeatStick is at 105. And you can see we're at 105 on the MeatStick. So both are accurate, just depending. You can see the MeatStick is further out. That's probably more in the middle. That's why the temperature discrepancy is lower with that one. But both are accurate, ambient and internal. So I'm going to bring this up to about 120, 125, get it seared, and then I will see you inside. Alright guys, this thing looks fantastic and it smells even better. You just saw that sear I did on my gas grill out there, and we had some good flare-ups because of the amount of fat on here, and I was not concerned about these probes at all because I know that they can take those high temperatures. That is a great feature of both these temperature probes, especially the MeatStick, because I get that 1200 degrees max temp compared to the 1000 degrees max temp. I don't think I was that high, but you never know, so having the 1200 degrees is a great option. Now, I'm sure you already know from how I've been talking about these two meat thermometers, but I got to go with the MeatStick 5. It's Wi-Fi. That enough is for me to like it over the Meter Pro. Plus, being able to pair up to 8 of your other MeatSticks to this one extender and using Wi-Fi, That's a game changer as well. And I didn't mention it either, but both of these are magnetic, so you can stick them to your fridge. This prime rib came out fantastic. It was so nice to be able to go on my phone, constantly check temperatures. I knew when it was getting close and I can get ready, start my other grill up to sear it off. Having a nice wireless meat thermometer really is a great thing to add to your barbecue tools. MeatStick 5, I will leave a link right down in the description if you're interested in one of these, and you can use my code JOE10, get you 10% off your order of a meat stick. If you have other meat sticks, definitely pick one of these up because it can pair with your other meat sticks. Such a great option. But I'm dying to get into this. I'm going to let it rest a little bit, slice it up, eat it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe right over here. I will leave a couple of my other wireless meat thermometer reviews over here if you're interested in those. But most importantly, get out there and smoke something good.